Coming up in the morning edition, the Bahama Resort reopens its doors today. Also,
this allowed analysts time to examine the economic data.
The Prime Minister explaining the delay in the tabling the fiscal strategy report. Also,
my grandson is going to be jumping for joy, I'm sure.
And Christmas comes early courtesy of the Red Cross. We've got all of these stories and much, much more when the morning edition comes right back. Good morning, everyone. I'm LaDon Davis. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, Santa is on his sleigh distributing those gifts to all on the nice list just a few days before Christmas in some pretty nice weather. Taking a look at your weather forecast, a high-pressure ridge across the area will continue to weaken as it shifts eastwards ahead of an approaching cold front that is expected to enter the extreme northwest Bahamas this afternoon. We'll get up to a high today of 84 degrees with an overnight low of 64 degrees. Let's take you out to our streets this morning where Antoine Smith and the morning traffic team is standing by with your Thursday traffic commute.
The traffic report is sponsored by Bahamas First. First in insurance. Today, tomorrow.
Good morning, LaDon, and a pleasant good morning to you, Bahamas. Your Thursday morning traffic report comes to you from University Drive, also known as Thompson.
Yeah, go ahead, Chris. Stand by.
I don't have anyone yet.
Hey.
Resulting in traffic extending up and down the corridor of University Drive. And joining us this morning to talk about that is Corporal Christopher Wims of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning, Anthony. Good morning, Bahamas.
So tell us first, before we get into that, about the happenings for traffic overnight.
Well, we're happy to report that we had no accidents reported to the police last night. However, a total of 24 hours, we had a total of 8 accidents, 5 of which was accidents with minor damages, 3 with injuries. We had no hit and runs. We still have 12 hospitalized victims as a result of those accidents.
Now let's get into this area for a second, because to me, for a civilian, I just see traffic everywhere extending up and down. But as the eyes and the ears on the streets tell me, what does it look like?
Well, for the past few weeks, this good gesture that Island Luck was putting on has resulted in a massive traffic flow in this area. We want to advise the motoring public, if you don't have to come in this area, please feel free to traverse the city and the surrounding areas. This event should end around 12 noon, so sometime around 12:30 it should be all cleared up.
So which areas, if I am coming in this area to go to work today, which areas should I avoid? Which streets should I not take? Because it appears to me Thompson Boulevard is a no-no.
That's for sure. Thompson Boulevard, straight out to the 6-leg roundabout. We have Moss Road from Blue Hill Road into the University Drive area. I noticed that some of the cars are taking the back streets of the Oaksfield area, which is fine. But they're moving freely down and about there. But as of this area, most of the vehicles that you see in this area are persons that are making their way in this area as a result of Island Lock giveaways.
Now, this is a police control area. You have your comrades. They're on their game this morning. You are on your game this morning. Talk to me about that police presence that we are about to see today and over the next coming weeks.
Well, as of Monday, you guys should have seen us. You guys should have most certainly feel us. Our presence is out there. We want to remind the persons out there that we're not just out there to cite persons for the various offenses. We're out there as a crime prevention tool. And that's what we're trying to do to ensure that persons who goes to whether shops, Christmas gifts, and all those different stuff, they feel the freedom, the liberty to travel throughout the country to have a good time, but while being protected by the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
Before I go, really quickly, tell me what offenses should I not be breaking this week, what I should be looking for, because as I told you, I ran into a blockade or a few, and I want to be on my P's and Q's.
All right, we have mostly what we're seeing, that the persons who don't have unlicensed vehicles, who vehicles are not licensed, what they tend to do is don't get insurance. If you don't have insurance, no driver's license, then the police has a course of action for you. But we want to remind persons that, yes, you have a 90-day extension on that. But try to do the right thing so that if you are ever stopped, you can present your insurance, your driver's license, so that you can traverse freely through the country.
All right, well, that's all we have for your traffic report today. If you are coming in this area, make sure to take an alternate route or else you're going to be late to work. And going into the Christmas weekend, make sure you're on your P's and Q's, avoiding all those behavioral offenses that the good corporal talked about today. That's all I have for the traffic report. We're going to toss it back to you in studio, LaDon.
Off the top this Thursday, it's been a busy couple of weeks for the hotel industry. Last week, Atlantis reopened its doors. Earlier this week, it was the Hilton, and today, it's Bahamar's turn. Lloyd Allen is live with the latest.
Yes, good morning, LaDon. Good morning, Bahamas. It's all smiles for almost 1,800 persons here at Baha Mar Resort. Cable Beach, as a resort, officially reopens today after nearly 8 months of closure. This morning, joining us here in the Morning Edition is President Graham Davis. Mr. Davis, welcome to the Morning Edition.
Thank you very much. We're thrilled and excited to be opening today.
Now, of course, it's been a long time coming. Your employees have been looking forward to this. Preparations, obviously, would have taken place before today. Talk to us a little bit about some of those things that happened to ensure that employees are safe once they return back here to Baha Mar.
Yes, thank you very much. This is really an exciting moment, and I recall when we opened back in April of 2017, it's been quite a journey. And certainly since we've been closed as of March 25th, our main focus has been the safety of our guests, our associates, and our community. And we have taken the extraordinary step beyond any company here in the Bahamas to pay out over $70 million in ex gratia payments and severance and medical benefits to our associates while we've been closed, to all 5,000. And so that's an extraordinary step to ensure that our associates have been taken care of. And certainly when they come back to work, they will feel extra motivated and excited to be taking care of our guests. Now, what we've been really focused on since we've been closed is our protocols to ensure that we work and open in a very safe environment. And that is our utmost priority, is to ensure that we open safely for our guests and certainly for our associates and for the community. And we've been doing that through establishing world-class protocols. We've been testing all of our associates every week and before they've returned, and we've done over 7,000 tests already of rapid antigen testing. We've had a great partnership with Doctors Hospital, and certainly as our guests start to arrive today, they'll also have rapid antigen testing as they arrive into the property. And certainly with our protocols of socially distancing, our face mask wearing, and our sanitizing, extra equipment that we purchased to ensure our rooms, our public areas are all sanitized. we feel very confident that we're going to be open safely and ensure that we create an exceptional experience for our associates as well as our guests. And we look forward to welcoming the community to come stay overnight with us starting today as well. We have a great staycation package for our local residents and citizens, $199. You get a free rapid antigen test when you come in, and certainly you can start to enjoy the facility right away today. Our restaurants will be open starting on Sunday with a 5-day test that you take prior, and that'll have our restaurants open to the general public as well. So we're very excited, and we've done a tremendous amount of preparations to get here to today.
All right, so some great details there. Of course, we're going to have more on this story later on today. But again, I'm here at Baha Mar enjoying the festivities and welcoming these 1,800 employees back to the property. LaDon, back to you in studio.
Thanks a lot, Lloyd. Well, the Most Honorable Prime Minister and Minister of Finance, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis, tabling the government's Fiscal Strategy Report, or FSR, during House of Assembly proceedings Wednesday. The document details the government's medium-term plan to manage the country's finances while guiding the preparation of future budgets based on economic forecasts. Under the Fiscal Responsibility Act, the government is charged with presenting the report to Parliament on the third Wednesday of November. However, the government announced a delay to December. Prime Minister Minnis explains why the move was necessary.
This allowed analysts time to examine the economic data, to gauge indications on the trajectory of economic activity going forward. The importance of this fiscal strategy to our economic development cannot be overstated, for strong, structured, and disciplined fiscal management underpins our economic viability. Given the unprecedented times, it was the right thing to do, to take extra diligence in crafting the strategies for the next few years.
Over in the upper chamber, we heard more about the government's plan to put the country back on a financially sustainable path, and has given every indication the economy will not return to pre-crisis levels until 2022, giving us a better idea of where things stand and how the government proposes to achieve a means to the end. Minister of State for Finance, Senator the Honorable Kwesi Thompson, revealing that foreign reserve levels remains near historic highs of some $2.39 billion, or more than 37 weeks of import cover.
I am pleased to cast aside any concern regarding the threat of devaluation of the Bahamian dollar. Despite the economic trauma in the last 9 months, the prudent management of this administration has ensured that the Bahamian dollar remains as strong and as secure today as it was before the onset of this most devastating economic setback.
Turning our attention now to the latest information coming in about COVID-19 pandemic. Another 11 cases have been reported, 6 here in New Providence, 2 each in Grand Bahama and Eleuthera, while 1 case is still pending. Of the new infections, 8 are female and the other 3 male. 13 people are still in hospital, 12 of them were moderately ill, and the remaining 1 in the intensive care unit. A look at overall numbers put the total active cases of 1,404 and the recovered at 6,098. The total number of tests completed is 48,099. And still to come, a backlog in court cases exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic. We've got that story and more when the morning edition continues. Welcome back to the morning edition. With the country's resources constantly under threat from poaching and other unregulated activities, the government is introducing new legislation that will enhance protection for that vital sector. Minister of Immigration and Financial Services, the Honorable Ellswood Johnson, supported the legislation in his contribution to debate on the matter Thursday in the House of Assembly. He says safeguarding our marine resources will ensure the sector remains healthy for future generations.
Illegal, unlawful rape and pillage of our resources. People are using chemicals. You have persons out there who love the Bahamas from different islands. And it's astonishing the stories that they give. People come into this country and they pull guns on persons. And this bill actually protects your traps. So it's a holistic approach to preserving a resource, a natural resource, which we see as our third industry.
In his contribution, Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson highlighted the negative impact of poaching to the sustainability of the fisheries sector.
The practice of Bahamian fishermen is to collect the conch, put them in a boat, and go to a designated area known as a bar and clean them, take them out of the shell. Comparably though, poachers dive with a croaker sack. They break out the shell on the seafloor, and that is where they leave the shell. They take out the conch and leave the shell. Not only could that cause other divers to now believe that that's a conch in the shell, but it also creates a conch graveyard, and conchs thereby completely abandon the area.
The country has a backlog in court cases extending as far back as 2002. Chief Justice Brian Moree says that he has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic, although he could not provide exact figures. He says that has not just been the case in the criminal courts.
We are actually working our way through those cases and applications which were displaced since March of this year. So we are focused on trying to catch up in respect of those cases which were taken out of the system when certain operations were suspended. And it has caused us some concern with regard to the backlog, but we are working our way through it.
Moree, who has called for the Bahamas to become an international hub for arbitration and alternative dispute resolution, he says if the country can develop a strong alternative dispute resolution platform, it will resolve cases that would have been decided in court. He suggests as many as 30 to 40% of cases will not have to go to trial.
The first immediate impact on the court system is that we're going to pick off a lot of these cases either through mediation or through arbitration. The more cases that go through arbitration, the less that have to go through the courts. So I think that's a significant advantage. With regard to international arbitration, the impact will not be quite so direct in respect of the court matters, but it will benefit the country and the jurisdiction greatly because there are many concomitant benefits which will come with an international arbitration center with regard to the economy and with regard to our status as a major regional business center. So I think there are definite synergies between domestic arbitration and international arbitration and the court system. And when you look at the impact of a mediation module, which we are going to be including in our new rules, it'll have a major effect.
Some 400 applicants have signed on to the government's small business grant program that provides $5,000 to Bahamian entrepreneurs to start and or expand their business. $1 million have been allocated for the program, which will be facilitated through the Access Accelerator and Small Business Development Center. Casey Colley, owner of the Protocol Guy, received the government small business grant several months ago and told the morning team that his business has hit the ground running with that added boost. His business has garnered rave reviews from clients as far away as Africa, Switzerland, and the Cayman Islands. Additionally, he says his grant has also given him the push he needed to propel his business even in the midst of the pandemic.
The grant has given me the opportunity to purchase items that I would not ordinarily be able to get, as well as it has allowed me to set myself on a different path because I'm able now to enhance the services that I do offer. And so I am eternally grateful when I tell you about that grant. We do protocol training, protocol with that's business, that's church, but we've also added another segment of the business where we also do branding. So persons are able to come in and do branding consultation as well as imaging for your branding for your brand.
Carly says since he posted about his success on social media, his phones and inbox has been filled with messages from other small business owners interested in the grant. He says while he is pleased with the response, having the right plan for your business is key in nabbing a business grant.
For me, I believe in order to apply for a successful grant, you need a successful business plan. All right. And for me, I would have used my executive summary. It was all of the information that I could have possibly thought about was in that executive summary. And so there was no question as to where the funds were going. There was no question as to what was going to happen or what my business was about. Everything was there.
Finding the right balance between work and passion is sometimes a difficult task, but in this next feature, one immigration officer says her career in the organization has been a dream come true. Here's Lloyd Allen.
Immigration is somewhere I want to be. Since graduating from high school, this is the organization I wanted to join. But it took me 8 years to get here.
24-year Immigration Department veteran Sharice Johnson says back in 1996, before joining the organization, she was already a dedicated officer.
I worked as a police officer. After leaving the police force, I went into banking. I worked with Citibank for a couple of years until they downsized, making some positions redundant. I was one of those persons who was let go.
But as one door closed, another opened at immigration, where she truly experienced professional development full circle.
I have the opportunity to work at the airport, Nassau International Airport, currently called Linden Pinland International Airport, in the enforcement unit as well too. And I had the opportunity to work with applications, and that's applications for persons interested in residing or working in the Bahamas. I've also had the opportunity to work with customer service. I've had the opportunity to supervise the Refugee Administration Unit and now Detention Center.
At the Detention Center, Johnson says she has discovered the gift of having a listening ear.
As you get older, you tend to look at things realistically. And I always question what my passion is. And I've always been told by friends and family that you have a listening ear.
She says she uses this gift daily to navigate problems and to also discover solutions. Regularly, she interacts with staff, vendors, and officers from partnering organizations like the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. And despite having a full-time job, she says her husband and family come first.
When you're home, it's home time. When you're at work, it's business. Sometimes I'm required to be here 7 days a week, sometimes. I usually work until late hours, just to ensure that the work is done. There's nothing left over for the next day. What has to be completed that day must be completed for that day. And he's understanding.
After 24 years and going strong, she offers this advice to potential officers.
When you join an organization, there will be trials and tribulations in any job you go on to. However, once you learn to practice patience and sometimes have a deaf ear, you'll go far.
For the morning edition, Lloyd Allen, ZNS Network News.
And on the other side of the break, the Red Cross donating tablets just in time for the holidays. Stay close. Welcome back to the morning edition. Well, end of term is always a nerve-wracking time for students, as report card day is at the time to show just how hard they have worked. Today, in the final installment of our virtual education series, the Minister of Education gives the final grade for the ministry during these past 3 months, with the ultimate test being virtual adaptation. Lloyd Allen takes a look. Christmas has come early for 105 families as the Bahamas Red Cross gifted a number of tablets to assist with the virtual learning initiative across this country. Director General Sean Brennan says since Hurricane Dorian and now the COVID-19 pandemic, the organization has been building a database of families in need. After making some calls, the organization invited those families of children without a device to its headquarters this week for the donation.
The Bahamas Red Cross, we saw the need since Hurricane Dorian to come to the assistance of families who have been disadvantaged as a result of the hurricane. Here, during this futile season, the Bahamas Red Cross is once again stepping to the forefront in terms of providing assistance to families who have been impacted by Hurricane Dorian.
Among the recipients, we spoke with grandmother Shelley Austin, who says her grandson has been pushing hard all semester long, and she is happy that the Red Cross has assisted with this essential learning tool.
I'm elated. My grandson is going to be jumping for joy, I'm sure. I didn't tell him about this phone call, but I know when I get home, he's at the table right now doing virtual on my desktop. So when I tell him now that he has a tablet, he's going to think I'm Santa Claus. Ho, ho, ho.
As organizations and enterprises continue to find themselves adjust to the new normal, the National Art Gallery of the Bahamas is finding its way and adjusting as well. Anthony Smith has a story on how you can still view some stunning art despite the gallery's closure.
Call it a walk with a view.
It's almost like they're looking over us.
After months of forced closure due to COVID-19, the doors to the National Art Gallery have reopened, but not in the way you think.
The Sculpture Garden began as a re-envisioning in 2016 of a space here that always lived at the NAGB. And the team of the NAGB decided that they wanted to expand the Sculpture Garden into a space where the public can visit.
That's right, while the indoor gallery is still shuttered, art lovers and enthusiasts have yet another option. A sculpture garden featuring local and diverse flora donated by the Bahamas National Trust, and a series of thought-provoking art pieces like this one sculpted by artist Antonius Roberts.
And the Sculpture Garden is associated with the first African hospital here in the Bahamas, and also throughout the region. It's one of the first African hospitals. And his sculpture, Where We Belong, speaks about the memorialization of African heritage in the Caribbean, but specifically here in this site.
And to keep comfort in mind, the Sculpture Garden has also adapted to be contact-free.
Right now we have temporary free Wi-Fi.
This way, visitors can walk the trails while learning about the plants and sculptures virtually, as a new addition to the gallery's website features a virtual and informative walking tour. However, as gallery officials say, the true purpose of the garden is to act as a place for persons to reflect.
You know, right now we're going through some very uncertain times due to COVID-19 and, other things related to COVID. So they're intended to be anchors and beacons of hope, of reflection, of respite, to rest and relax and meditate.
Anthony Smith, ZNS Network News.
And that's a wrap for us this Thursday. For the entire team, I'm LaDawn Davis. Make it a great day, everyone. We leave you now with the sights of the holiday season over in Spanish Wells.
Short and bony as can be. All of the other